What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to this week's Cop Council podcast here on Anfield Agenda. I'm your host, Craig, and this week I'm joined by a trio of absolute podcasting superstars. I've got Daz from On the Bench LFC, I've got Tom, and I've got Chris. We start where we start every week, gents, and that's with listeners' questions. Chris, the first one comes in from Paul Tabley, and what Paul wants to know is, if you were suddenly arrested without any explanation, what would your family and friends assume that you'd done wrong?
Firstly, let me just apologise in advance for the rest of the pod. If I sound disinterested, I'm not. I'm just full of a cold. It's pretty simple, that one. Road rage. Guaranteed. Getting out my vehicle style road rage. Yeah. Because especially, they're probably able to pinpoint it down to somebody not signalling on a roundabout, which really, really gets my goat big time. Like, it drives me up the wall, excuse the pun. I react quite badly to it as well. So I would imagine it'd be that, yeah.
Even in your solar powered van?
Yeah. It's not solar powered, it's AdBlue. I'm not all the way green at the moment now. Just sort of halfway there.
Well, I'd imagine, look, you spend a lot of your time on the road, don't you? You drive up and down the country at work, so I imagine you come across a fair few idiots.
I lose my shit several times a day, yeah, without fail. Like, and I think it's because it's so constant. If I wasn't driving so much, I would probably find that, it just happened once every couple of days or something, so it wouldn't really get on my nerves. But when it's happening several times a day, somebody being an absolute dickhead on the road, then yeah, it drives me nuts.
It is absolutely mental how we change, isn't it? We can be perfectly rational human beings, Chris, and you put us in a car and somebody does something simple, like, as you said, not indicate or something on a roundabout. Like, you can just imagine, you lose your shit, you smash up his car or whatever, and you're in court and a judge is going, so you did all this just because you didn't signal on a roundabout.
Yeah, it's the falling down moment, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, because I like to think that I'm quite a rational person. Most people seem to take me that way, but I think I've experienced that much shit driving on the roads over the years. I've gone full Michael Douglas over it now. So yeah, be warned, you lot on the roads. Like, indicate on roundabouts, for fucking Christ's sake.
There's going to be people now up and down the country not indicating on purpose, hoping you're behind them.
Every time. Yeah, every time they see a van, that's going to be Chris. That is from Anfield Agenda. Let's piss him off. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, Chris, you can stay out of prison long enough to keep doing the podcast. So you just don't mind them people if you don't indicate, buddy. Don't take it personally.
They got good Wi-Fi in prisons nowadays, don't they? I can still do the podcast.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Win-win. Then do what you fucking want, buddy. Daz, buddy, for you, what would be the cause of you getting locked up? Or what would your family and friends assume was the cause of you getting locked up?
Probably just if I get drunk. I don't drink much anymore because when I was younger and I used to go out and get drunk, I'm that typical lad that I just wind everyone up when I'm drunk. It's not that I'm picking for a fight. Do you know when you've had too many to drink and you just look at your best mate or something, you just think, how can I piss him off? And it's not in a bad way. Just I fidget when I'm drunk. If someone bottles on the side, I will knock it over or something. I'm just a wind-up merchant. So yeah, it's probably if I've gone out and had too much to drink, and my family would know straight away. Daz has got drunk, and that's why he's been brought back by the police. I've done so many silly things when I'm drunk. My mum, when I was young, she's opened the front door to me being stark bollock naked with a cone on my head, trying to get into the front door. And I can't even remember it too much, but she said I refused to come into the house without the cone, without taking the cone off my head. So she said she had to try and manipulate her naked son through the front door with a massive road cone on my head. And she said that was the most awkward moment of her life. So I can imagine with a son of my own what sort of stuff I've got ahead as well if he takes after his dad. So yeah, it's got to be drink fueled. That will be what will happen with me, to be honest. That's why I don't drink too much anymore, guys. Everyone's safe if I'm on tea.
Note to self, make sure we invite Daz to the Christmas party.
Yeah. I'll bring a couple of bottles, and you guys will have a bit of fun, I'm sure.
We'll have traffic cones set up everywhere. We'll pretend we're doing some type of soccer AM special, but they're really just for dads to go home with.
Yeah. Oh dear.
And Tom, what about you, buddy? What would your mates and family assume you'd done?
I'd probably get taken down the station for questioning after being assaulted by a Chris, because my driving is not particularly great. So yeah, like I passed my test with like 8 minors or something like that, and like I don't think I'm a terrible driver, but I just know I'm not a very good one, and I'd probably do so much shit that enrages people on the roads. So yeah, I'd say something road related, but it's more because of me rather than someone else.
Tom, I don't think you can go to prison for getting the shit kicked out of you, buddy. I don't think that's how it works.
I was trying to link it, say I'm going downtown rather than like getting arrested. But if we can switch around, just say I'll just get arrested for crashing or something like that, or just going into the back of someone that's parked. I don't know, something stupid.
I remember once I wrote my car off. I was on Christmas Eve. I was going out to visit my mum, and I was going through the kind of country roads, and it was icy, and I slipped down and wrote my car off. And I remember the police officer coming to me and saying, yeah, you okay? Yeah. The good news is I'm not going to do you for dangerous driving. And I was thinking, fuck you, you absolute prick. That's the very least you can do, dangerous fucking driving. But you know what? He did fuck me over. He still found a way to fuck me over. So you know, Tom, when you've got a motor insurance policy, a lot of them these days have breakdown cover and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my car was obviously totaled. So it was on the phone. I was ringing the breakdown company to come and collect my car. And the police officer was like, no, I've already found somebody. My orders supersede any orders you give, so our guy's going to take the car away. So anyway, lo and behold, I get this bill my insurance company won't cover, of course, because it's not their guy. Look into a little bit deeper. It's his fucking brother-in-law. The copper's brother-in-law, like the absolute fucking bastard.
That is fucking sneaky. That is so sneaky.
Oh, 350 quid, buddy. 350 quid and then 70 quid a day for storing the fucking thing.
Oh my god.
Ridiculous.
Fuck.
Yeah, so I'd probably be done for killing a sergeant. That's probably where I'd end up locked up for. Chris, the next question, buddy, it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure you can't get arrested for this one, but mushy peas or baked beans with your fish and chips?
Oh, okay. Well, unless you're like 5, like, and it's fish fingers and chips, you don't have beans, do you? It's mushy peas all the way. Funnily enough, I've had that twice this week because I've been all around like different seaside towns, and when you're at the seaside, like you have fish and chips, don't you? So I went out for fish and chips twice this week, mushy peas with both. Winner.
You know what, mate?
Ridiculous money though. I think I paid like 15 quid or something for like fish chips and mushy peas. It's ridiculous.
That's fucking mental. That's mental prices.
I know.
Are you talking sit down here or out of a piece of paper?
I don't know. The first one was out. It was like a small pizza box, and this like to take out, walk around. You know, and the second one that was a sit-in. The ones that I ate out of the pizza box walking around, they were nice. The ones that I had on the sit-in, they tasted like ass. They were horrible. Yeah. So.
Do you know what, mate? I'm such a big child.
You're going to get the best.
I'm such a big fucking child that my wedding day, everybody, you know, you're sitting down when you're getting married and you're going through the wedding menus with the hotel and stuff like that, and you're doing things out, you're making sure you've got the vegetarian options for that fucking annoying cousin of yours that's a vegetarian, and you're going through all these bits and pieces, and they get to the vegan options and you're like, yeah, fuck them, no way, we're not going that far, they can get fucked, vegetarian or fuck off. And by vegetarian, by the way, missus, I mean vegetarian lasagna, because that's about as far as I'm willing to go for these fucking cunts that don't eat meat. Anyway, so it got down to the main meal, and we got everything right down to it. We'd agreed everything like that, the menu, the missus was happy, and I was saying, your one was just about to walk off, and I was like, oh, sorry, and by the way, just one thing, I have to have baked beans with my dinner. And she looked at me like, what? I was like, yeah, I have to have baked beans. If I'm having a roast or anything like that, I have to have baked beans. And she thought she looked at me like I'd fucking raped one of her children or something.
Dear me.
Do you know what, Chris? I'm that bad with baked beans that we were over on holidays in Portugal before, and we were in this really beautiful steak restaurant in the Algarve, and I mean, like, one of the nicest places I've ever eaten. It was kind of a circular restaurant that overlooked the bay, and it was just breathtaking. So anyway, dinner was coming out, and I said to the woman, "Oh look, I know this is a long shot. Is there any chance you guys have baked beans in there?" And she said, "No, we don't." So I asked her if I ran down to the supermarket and got a tin, could she, go into the chef and get the chef to sort them out and put them on the plate. So she said, "Yep, no problem." Ran down, got them, and do you know what the chef did? The fucking lazy bastard opened the tin and literally poured them onto the plate. Didn't heat them up, done fuck all, just poured them straight out of the tin onto my plate.
I'm on the chef's side there, I've got to be honest. Although I do like beans, to be honest. I used to have with him back when I was a student. You scrape the barrel when it comes to meals, don't you, sometimes? And I used to get like a proper, dirt cheap frozen pizza, so like a quid from some like low budget supermarket, and top it off with a tin of baked beans. It was a bit weird. I've not done it since I was a student. I've not done that for years, but yeah, I'd throw beans on most things, to be honest. But it's not that far fetched if you go to a restaurant to ask for something that you will only ever have. Some people like can't eat a meal without ketchup, can they? Like, they have to have ketchup on everything. Like, it starts when they're like 3 and then never ends.
Yeah, I'd fall into that category as well.
No, there's just some things that you have to have ketchup with, but I don't know. People will literally have it on a roast dinner and that. I've seen it. It's weird. Can't get my head around it.
Call me weird. So, Daz, before I come over to you, I just have to say my answer to this one is actually neither. It's just salt and vinegar for me, and nothing else belongs on fish and chips for me. But Daz, how about you? Baked beans, mushy peas. I'm gonna throw in curry sauce as well, buddy, because I know you're from down south.
Yeah, mine would be curry sauce. I was going to say neither. I would go for curry sauce. So you kind of just answered that for me there. If I had to pick out both, it would be beans. But I literally order my chips with curry sauce all the time. Is it a cliche? I didn't even know that people do think of us as that. But always have to have curry sauce. I absolutely love it.
I've been in chippies down south where they don't even have that. Like,
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing moist goes on the chips at all. Like, other than vinegar, maybe.
The sweat of weird, like serving it.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, you come up north, like, and you don't see chips for other things up north, like, but then down south, it's like, yeah, if you got any gravy, and like, I'm gonna punch you if you ask me that again. It's like weird.
There's a brilliant Peter Kay sketch about that, by the way.
Oh, there was one. Yeah, but you kind of nicked that off Dave Sparky. I don't know if you've seen his stand up.
No, I know who he is. I haven't watched much of his stuff.
Yeah, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But
stand out moist. They've no gravy, no gravy.
It is. It's weird. That's how then everybody eats down south from chip shop. It's Savoy's. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, I have that all the time. I love it. Absolutely
no.
Daz, you're just a fucking walking cliche, buddy, aren't you?
I must be.
Jelly deals.
Chips. No, I don't do them.
No,
I don't. My missus does, but I don't. So.
And Tom.
Never tried them. I'll be honest.
Tom, lastly, we come to you, buddy.
I was going to say neither as well. So you to the answer. But if I had to pick, it would be mushy peas, because you just got you can't have beans over peas with fish and chips. Like, it's naturally peas. So yeah,
we'll make a northern review. Yeah.
Probably not. I'm not a big fan of chips and gravy. That's
disgusting.
wrong.
By the way, that is so wrong.
Gravy belongs on your roast dinner, not on your chip.
Have you ever had a poutine, Tom?
Poutine is lovely.
A poutine, so it's like a Canadian thing. It's chips, gravy, and cheese curd.
That is really nice. I like that. It is nice.
Never tried that.
You should try it. It's really nice. My missus got me into that because her family lives over in Canada, and she said to me to try it once, and I was like, "You're having a laugh? That sounds absolutely disgusting." I tried it, and honestly, if you ain't tried it, give it a shot. It's beautiful.
Yeah, my missus swears by it as well, and like Daz, she has family in Canada, and that's where she got it from. It looks like something that came out of a baby's nappy. I'm not going to lie, but
yeah, it does.
Apparently, a lot of people swear by it. Thank you to Julie for that question as well, @ClopForever on Twitter. Last question, Chris, and again I'm going to come to you first, buddy. What's the longest you've ever stayed awake for?
Like I said before, I don't really want to be honest about that because of what's behind it. So I would say as you guys know, I'm a keen fisherman as well.
We also know you're a keen drug addict as well at this point, by your denial a second ago.
Nice and low key. Nice.
I got through a lot of pizza topped with beans.
A lot of sugar back in the day.
A lot of sugar. Too much sugar. No. So, all right. The longest I've stayed awake purely driven on caffeine and ham sandwiches and that is 48 hours. Let's go with that one.
Isn't it absolutely amazing though, Chris, how your mind starts playing tricks on you when you're so tired? Like when you're naturally so tired like that, as you said, you had no genuine sleep for 48 hours. Nuts what happens to you.
Yeah, you start thinking you're catching fish. It's weird.
That's just the LSD, mate. That's not the tiredness.
So it wasn't a 48-hour fishing session then. I was wrong.
He was in a field, no pond, no lake.
Just sat in a boat in the middle of the motorway.
Daz, mate, I hope your story doesn't end with some type of traffic cone incident.
Probably. Oh dear.
So for you, mate, Daz, what's the longest?
Yeah. I've done like long weekends. So I think thinking about it, it's probably go out on the Friday night and staying awake and coming back Monday. But the last 24 hours being in a shed, just you and one other mate, just sitting there chatting shit, and the day's dragging and you're cold and you're exhausted, but you're hanging on because you think it's cool because you're young. That's my memories of being young, you know. And I don't know whether that ended with a cone on my head or not, but it was when drink fueled and just long weekends really. So yeah, I would say coming close to a 3-day stint, but it definitely started a Friday evening. But yeah, as you say, your mind starts playing tricks on you. I probably wasn't in a shed. I probably was in a boat next to Chris on the motorway, to be honest. Catching fish.
Chris is standing naked in the middle of a roundabout, jumping up and down, going, "He didn't indicate. He didn't indicate."
But I did. That's one thing. I hold the moral high ground there. I did indicate.
Oh, yeah.
Chris going around full on hand signals everywhere on the traffic roundabout.
Tom just drives straight over the roundabout because he's the cunt on the road.
My bad.
Tom, for you, buddy, what's the longest you've stayed up?
There's been like quite a few nights out of uni that have done like all-nighters. But the one time I remember staying up a lot was when near where my dissertation had to be handed in, like the night before. I think 2 days before, I got up pretty early, like in the morning, like super early to have like a full 2 days kind of thing. And then I just worked through like the night before, the final day. So I got up early that morning, worked all through that night, then handed it in the next morning at like 11 o'clock. And I'm pretty sure I went out that evening as well to celebrate. So I don't know how long that is, but I just remember being like a broken man when I handed that in. There's a picture of me and the circles under my eyes are so grim. And yeah, I couldn't really think straight. And then I went out, did some drinking afterwards. So yeah, pretty long time.
I don't think I've had that in dramatics, you know that? I'd say there's at least 2 nights a week I don't sleep, definitely, like at all. But there's never been a time in my life where I've gone more than 1 night without sleeping because I just can't function. My body just crashes and I just have to sleep. So, unfortunately, my answer for that one's quite boring, unlike the guys who've had a few mad incidents. You know what, gents? Look, that was sent in by at Nicotron, at Nicotron, and thank you very much for that one, buddy. Time to get to the football, though, and Chris, the Reds finished their tour of, well, I say their tour, the US leg of their pre-season tour last night with a fantastic 4-1 victory against Manchester United. Poor old Jose Mourinho, though, he wasn't happy, Chris, was he?
That's Mourinho being ecstatic, I think, nowadays. Miserable bastard. He's fucking unbelievable, isn't he? He just moans and moans and moans, and when he's finished moaning, you think, oh, fucking hell, I don't know if I listen to him moaning anymore. He starts again, and it's getting ridiculous, isn't it? I feel sorry for the lads who play. I don't know, everybody's said it, haven't they? I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know, but he's just throwing young lads under the bus constantly. He's pretty much telling them that they're not part of his plans whatsoever. They're not his players. Imagine hearing that as a youngster. I mean, let's be honest. I know we're not a fan of any of United's players, but like take Fosu Mensah, for example. You can't deny that he's a good young player. He's going to have a future somewhere, even if it's not at United. And he's being told that he's not his player. He's useless. You can't be relied upon, and he's not going to be in the squad at the start of the season. Why is the young lad going? That's got to be soul destroying for him. It really has. And and then on the flip side, we've got Philip. Oh God, no, you could reel them off, can't you? The amount of young players we've put out in pre-season, and Klopp bigs them up, talks about them as if they're part of things, and there's the difference.
Did you see the stat, by the way, Chris? Jose talking about his young team, his kids playing against Liverpool's best 11.
On average age, like a year younger, wasn't it? Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't think he means particularly like as an age thing. He's probably talking more about experience. But again, you point to players like McTominay, who had pretty much a full season last season in and around the first team. Fosu Mensah has been part of the first team before he's gone out and played first team football on loan. These are not inexperienced players, and him as a coach should be able to get them players to play together, put a game plan together, and get them to play football. Otherwise, they shouldn't be at Manchester United if they're not good enough. Similar to the players at Liverpool shouldn't be at Liverpool if they're not good enough. And it's no excuse. There's no way both of those managers, those two sets of players, and all of the fans watching the game wanted anything other than their teams to win. No chance. You call it a friendly all you want. That was the one game this pre-season where it perhaps wasn't just about fitness. It was about winning the match, because you don't want to lose to each other. So all of the bullshit he's come out with, he can shove it right up his ring piece as far as I'm concerned. They got outplayed, outclassed. And we weren't really at full strength. It's not like we had a full strength side out from minute 1 to minute 90. There was a lot of changes, and we perhaps had a slightly weaker side out in the second half, and that was when we started performing even better. So it's these excuses don't really work, do they? They don't really mean anything. And the fact of the matter is, we've come out of it with the win, and that gives us a bit more excitement, a bit more momentum, and it's kind of ruined their mood. Not that they had a great mood anyway at the time. So, and I think you're going to have a group of their players coming back into a miserable dressing room. That can't be a good thing. And how close are we to the start of the season now?
Couple of things there. Firstly, Paddy Power actually put out a tweet that said that they'd now brought Mourinho in as the favourite to be the first manager to leave his post in the Premier League, and they've actually installed Pochettino as the favourite of 4-1, I think, to replace him. But you spoke, Chris, about the young guys and the players that were put out in the field there for Manchester United. And whilst the result isn't important, I understand your point as well, of course, about it being the United-Liverpool game. But what you'd like to see is a style of football. You'd like to see players in there playing in a specific way. When I look at that Manchester United team, all I seen was them defending deeply, and very well at times, I must say, particularly in the first half. They were defending for their lives, but they had no outball. It was either Alexis Sanchez or nothing. There was no plan, there was no structure, there was no excitement. It was fucking horrible to watch from their sense.
It's kind of the way they play, though, isn't it? It's not surprising. He's gone into a pre-season friendly park in the bus, when Mourinho parks the bus, that's to get results because he's worried about the opposition. So let's get this off the bat straight away. He was taking this game seriously, regardless of what players he had available, what players he used. They did defend quite well in that first half. I know we had some chances, but they did defend quite well and quite doggedly.
He was brilliant, by the way, in the first half.
He was very good. But the thing is they don't look happy doing it. That's the thing. It's not. I don't think they're on board with it. I'm not a fan. I wouldn't want to see Liverpool go back to playing the way they did under Benitez again. It brought us success in the early days under Benitez, but eventually it was sometimes a bit of a chore watching it. And it was, and that's kind of the way United are playing now. Although I think we did it to slightly better effect. What I would say though is the players were on board with Benitez when Benitez was doing it. Well, I think some players though, can get disillusioned by it, especially if you're not getting results and winning trophies. And I think after last season, I know they finished second, but it was still, the players know they were still some way off Man City. And I think those players, they know football and they're intelligent enough to all know that, Liverpool on another season where they weren't gunning for the Champions League may have caught them up as well. I think there's a lot of things that the players are not happy with there. And the other thing I think they're not happy with is the way their manager throws their teammates under the bus. How awkward must that be when a manager throws your best mate under a bus and you've got to, what have you got to do? You've got to stay on the right side of your manager, but two, he's your teammate, he's your mate, he's the guy you sit with when you're having your dinner or you share a room with when you're playing away. You don't get any of that at Liverpool at the moment. Everybody, and I know this kind of goes into answering possibly another question, but just to give you the comparison, we played with a swagger. Take aside the result and just look at the performance. We played with a swagger. Almost a nonchalance at times where the players themselves know how good they are. And I'm pretty sure the players at United know how good they are. But they know how good the other players around them are as well, and they trust them. And I'm sure you get a bit of that at United as well. But what they also have is they trust the manager. They trust the system that the manager's put in place. And they trust that it doesn't matter if they make a mistake. It doesn't matter if they only put in a 90% performance. I don't mean in terms of effort. I mean in terms of, using their ability, for example. It's not going to be the end of them because it's about the bigger picture with Klopp. It's not about the last game, and they're not going to get thrown under a bus. They're not going to have to hide behind the teammates or anything like that. Everybody's on the same page and they all seem happy with it. And I suppose that's a lot easier when you're playing sort of more attacking, more expansive style of football, but still everybody's on the same page, and it's just not. They're just not at United. It's quite clear, and even the fans are now very. I think Mourinho is quite a divisive subject with the fans now, isn't he?
Good enough for them. Fuck him, Chris. That's what I say. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Daz, flipping it over, looking at it from the other side, the side that we actually give a shit about, buddy, if we're being honest. Liverpool went out there, as Chris rightly said, with a swagger. They played a beautiful style of football. Even the young guys looked full of confidence. And, buddy, I'm not going to lie, I am so looking forward to the new season.
Yeah, I've been really impressed this pre-season with, I guarantee it's the same as what most people would say. I think Camacho, Jones, Phillips, they're the three names that a lot of people I see are talking about. But I think Ojo as well was impressed me recently. I think Klopp himself said about Woodburn, he said he's 100% back. Obviously, I think there's talk today about him going out on loan. But I think the youngsters in our squad, like what Chris was saying, they look at our manager, at our team, and they know that if they impress, they've got a chance of playing. You say you're looking forward to this season. It's because the youngsters as well, they're playing because they want to be a part of what Liverpool are doing now. That progression that we're seeing isn't just about the first team, it's about the squad. And everyone feels a part of that. And Chris was so spot on about United, how they won't feel a part of that. And you can see the disconnect there. But at Liverpool, you can see how all the players do feel a part of it. And there's only a few players that I would say that don't have a future at Liverpool that do seem a bit disjointed, and you could probably see that in pre-season. But the players that we saw against United for definite, they was all up for it. I mean, talking about Phillips, his centre-back, I would go as far as saying, if you look at his age as well, he's actually older than Gomez by a couple of months, I think. So he could be pushing Gomez for a centre-back spot this year. He's so good this pre-season. I mean, Gomez is a quality player as well, but Camacho playing at right back, again, another great performance from him, considering he's actually an attacking midfielder, isn't he? He plays more in an attacking role normally. So his final product is so good, so good. I look at him and I think, yes, it's pre-season, but these players, they are trying to make a name for themselves. They are letting Klopp know that in the cup games this year, these players are ready to play. Liverpool just looked, as Chris said, swagger. That swagger that we was playing with. Even the youngsters have got that swagger at Liverpool Football Club right now. It's fantastic to watch. Ojo, stepping up for that penalty. We was all looking at that penalty and Daniel Sturridge, wanting that penalty. And Ojo's like, step off. I've got this. And the cockiness, the arrogance that he took that penalty with, amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's so good, and I am really looking forward to this season, not only just because of the new lads that we brought in this window, but because of the youngsters that we've got as well. And watching that game against United and seeing us get a victory, like everyone keeps pointing out, it's only pre-season, but it's a victory over United, and it's, no matter what Mourinho says, he's a wet fart in a lift, and no one appreciates it. He's him talking about this game, about their youngsters. It was our youngsters. It's pre-season. It's our pre-season team against their pre-season team. Going into the season, we're all going to be in the same boat once the season starts and everything. And I think Liverpool are going to be the ones that are going to be pushing City this year. And Manchester United, he moans about he didn't have certain players, but come on, Liverpool ain't got certain players. So I'm really excited at the moment, guys. Really, not just about the new signings, not just about our main players, but the youngsters as well.
Before we push on and go over to Tom Daz, I just want to take a moment to have a little chat about Mr. Sheridan Shaqiri, and my God, what an introduction to his Liverpool career. Jesus Christ, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, outstanding. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about signing other players, i.e. Fekir or whatever, for that number 10 position, an attacking midfielder, someone that's more creative. I see a lot of Liverpool fans out there at the moment saying we could still do with someone that's got more creative ability in midfield. They're looking at Lallana and saying, has he got that ability? Is he going to be available all year because of the injuries that he's had? However people look at it, I'm a fan of Adam Lallana. I think he's very creative. But you look at Shaqiri now in the team. It's only been half a game, but what a way to announce yourself. That goal alone was outstanding. He spoke about he really enjoys doing bicycle kicks and that he trains for them a lot. But just the way he picked up positions, the way he wanted the ball. He was almost demanding the ball in midfield. He was dictating play. And Chris said it. The second half, we fielded a weaker team. It looked like I was saying I wasn't expecting as much from the second half squad, but we actually played better and we commanded the game. We completely controlled them. And I think Shaqiri being on the pitch definitely helped that. And people were saying that he's come into, when Salah doesn't play, he'll play out on the right. If Mane doesn't play, he'll play out on the left. But I think he's showing as well that he's more than capable of playing in that midfield role as well, playing behind Bobby this season. If that's needed, he's so versatile, he could play anywhere. And Klopp said it's not normal how quick he has actually adapted to, our style. Like I say, it's one half of a pre-season match. We get that. We do get that as fans. We're not getting overexcited, but come on, Shaqiri, what a performance, what a way to announce your debut. That goal was absolutely superb. He had a great performance as well. I think I'm not going to oversay that there's massive things to come from him, because there will still be some performances where he probably does need bedding in time at Liverpool, and you're not going to expect him to be massive. But if that does happen, then fair play to him, because he's had his fair share of doubters with his move to Liverpool, and I wish him all the best.
He's never going to be massive, Dad. He's only 5'6", to be fair. He's definitely never going to be massive. Did you see what Klopp said about him, though, which I thought was really encouraging, always great to hear? He said that when SHAQIRI came over, he did his medical, he signed, he was still on his holidays, and he wanted to come straight into training. And Klopp had to tell him, no, go and have a holiday, buddy.
Yeah, you're hearing that about a lot of the signings. I think Alisson was the same, wasn't it? I think Alisson said that he wanted to get straight on as well. So it's the players that we're signing. They all want to get involved with the Liverpool project. It's not just that they're signing for Liverpool. They want to get straight on with it. So, we're signing and we're landing these quality players now. And at the same time, they're raring to go. So it's not just what we're seeing and the excited feeling and that great feeling that we got as Liverpool fans, but the players themselves that are playing for us already and the new signings, they've all got this belief, and they all want to just get started. They all want this new season. They all want to be a part of it. And like I was saying about the youngsters as well, everyone wants to be a part of Liverpool right now. So that bodes really well for us in the future, and for other players that could well be joining us, not just in the next transfer window, but the one after that, and in the next couple of years as well.
I should say that I have to add Jordan Henderson into that list as well, because apparently he told Klopp he wanted to come back early, but Klopp said, no, go on holidays, buddy. Jesus Christ, nobody wants a holiday anymore. I'll take them if nobody wants them.
Yeah.
It goes back to them enjoying it, though, doesn't it? And them all being on the same page.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a happy place to be, isn't it, Liverpool at the moment? And it's, you can see, going back, obviously you've just mentioned SHAQIRI there, he played with a smile on his face. He didn't stop smiling the entire time he was on the pitch. It wasn't just because he scored that goal and he was smiling at full time. He's not that, didn't look that miserable, moody, lazy sod that we were told we were bringing in. And again, you've touched on him playing a new role there, Daz. I took a lot of stick on Twitter the other week. And I think I took a bit of stick on our WhatsApp group as well for also suggesting that he might take up the central attacking midfield role. But because he's played as a winger at his previous club, that's guaranteed where he's playing, which isn't the case, because as we know with Klopp, he buys a skill set, doesn't he? He doesn't copy what another manager does with a player. And he looked really comfortable there and really happy playing that role. And just to move on from that, I believe that there's a reason why he might have been put in that role yesterday, because looking forward, he might want to use him in that role, because obviously it looks like the Fekir deal is possibly dead.
What's your fucking mouth out?
Hold on. I think it quite possibly opens the door for us to go in the market for Pulisic.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, you're all right there. Fair play to you, Chris. Great point, buddy. Well done. Well made.
Just a theory. Just a theory, though.
Tom, I don't think we can talk about the pre-season tour of America without mentioning the amazing fan base that the Reds have over there. To see over 100,000 people in that stadium, and yes, there was 4 or 5 Manchester United fans scattered around there somewhere, but in the whole, mate, it was mainly Liverpool fans. We've seen them tailgating before the game, having their barbecues, meeting other Reds from up and down the country, all getting together, having a laugh. Klopp win singing LA, LA, LA. It's what it's all about, and it's amazing to see these scenes and Reds all over the world getting a chance to meet each other, get closer to the heroes, and it's what we all believe that Liverpool, and I hate to be cheesy here, but the Liverpool family is all about.
Yeah, that is what it's all about, and I think that's what these tours are becoming more about as well. The fixtures are kind of getting better over the last few years. I feel like there's more top teams kind of playing each other, and I think that is to expand all the different brands that we have in the Premier League and all different clubs. And what that does for the hardcore fans that we do have overseas, so especially in America, it seems like our fan base has grown over there quite dramatically over the last few years. Because as you said, it did seem to me like the Liverpool fans vastly outnumbered the United fans. I don't know if that was just because I was looking out for Liverpool fans, but I don't know. I thought there was a lot more, which is not really what I'd expect. I thought United would have quite a lot more than us over there. But it's great to see. As you said, they get to see their heroes. I saw so many people on Twitter saying I've supported Liverpool for 10 years or 12 years or whatever, and this is the first chance that I've ever got to see them. And, you know, for people like that, I can kind of relate to that because my family don't really like football. So I've never really been able to go to Anfield very much at all. So I can really kind of identify with that. And for them to be able to do that and kind of fulfill their dream and just to even see the players down there, like just to be that close or even be with that many other Liverpool fans. Most of them probably haven't even been with like more than a few fans, like for example. A lot of them definitely won't have done. So it's a huge opportunity for them. And, you know, I'm really happy that we absolutely smashed Man United as well for them to see that live. Yeah, it's really good all round. And to be fair, I saw, did anyone else see the Anfield Wrap put one of their stickers on the United coach? I thought that was fucking hilarious.
I didn't see that, but top marks. That's brilliant.
It was right in the middle of the badge, like right in the middle. It was so good.
I didn't think my esteem for those guys could get any higher, but it just had. That's absolutely fantastic. Tom, just touching on again on the fan base and stuff. We've seen the times that we've had to, I say suffer, but get through for some of these games. The 1 a.m. kickoff before previously, it gave us just a touch, just a little taste of what the fans around the world, the overseas fans in particular, have to go through to see the Reds at times. I've heard stories of fans who wake up at 3-4 a.m, drive an hour to the supporters club to meet other Reds, bar owners that open up bars at 6 a.m. to make breakfast and stuff for people so they can come and watch the games. It's absolutely brilliant to see the Reds all around the world. I keep going on about this Liverpool family, this whole worldwide base thing, but it absolutely blows my mind, and it just feels such a privilege to be part of something that seems to be moving in the right direction. People are buying into it. Everybody seems to be pulling the same way. And it's great, Tom. It's fucking brilliant. I'm 36 years of age, and this is the most excited I've ever been as a Liverpool fan.
I think these people are much better fans than me because, as you said, that there was that one game the other day, you know, on at 1 a.m. or something over here, and I didn't watch that. I could not be asked to watch that. And yes, I know it's a friendly, but like you said, these people have to do that every single week if they want to watch Liverpool Football Club. That's like insane. Like, so they're a lot of those guys are much more like hardcore fans than a lot of the people in the UK, 100%. And fair play to them. I definitely wouldn't have that commitment.
Before that Dortmund game on LFC TV, they were interviewing a couple of guys outside the ground, and one of them had driven like for a solid 20 hours to go watch that game.
Jesus.
You know, and we can be quite, you know, sort of blasé about the fact that it's a pre-season friendly and it's going to be a few kids. So, you know, oh, is it raining out? Do we go out? You know, it's only an hour and a half up the road. You know, this guy literally drove 20 hours. So you got to assume he's going to drive 20 hours back. So there's 40 hours of driving right there. Yeah. Just to basically go watch
I hope he indicated at every single junction, by the way.
Well, I wrote an email to LCTV to ask them to find out. Just needed to be sure.
Send the drone after him.
But don't this just highlight the fact that with Mourinho saying that, you know, where he said, I wouldn't pay to watch these players. This again just highlights how much of a twat he is, because there's fans out there, you know, we're talking about our fans here, but there's fans of United as well that would be doing exactly the same. They don't get the chance to be able to watch their team play, and they will be doing the same lengths to be able to watch them. And he comes out with a comment like that. How does that make their fans
He misses the point. He misses the point completely, because it's not about the players. I mean, in 10 years' time, we're not going to be watching a Liverpool side with Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino, Sadio Mane, Virgil van Dijk in it. There's going to be a whole new set of players there. We support the club. You know, that guy drove 20 hours across the United States to watch Liverpool Football Club, not to watch Mo Salah. You know, and it's...
And Chris, tickets weren't cheap either for that game.
No, they wouldn't have been, would they? I tip my hat off to the guy who drove 20 hours, and I've got to question whether I would for a pre-season friendly. You know, certainly would for a European Cup final. But, you know, I suppose that's simply because it's kind of been on my doorstep all my life, and I've been and watched big games at Anfield, big important games for years and years and years. So, you know, but for this guy, this was his chance to go and watch a club he's always supported, and he was quite willing to put the effort in to go. And we know how much these guys from overseas love the club. We deal with them a lot. We speak to them a lot. A lot of our listeners are from overseas, and they eat, sleep, and breathe the club every bit as much as local fans do. And fair play to them, the efforts that they go to. What I liked for them as well, and this kind of made me laugh as well, is that over these games, it was treated like a Liverpool home game. Each game was, you consider the size of the clubs we're playing as well. With You Never Walk Alone being played over the tannoy at the beginning of the games and everything like that, like it would at Anfield. Absolute total disregard to Manchester United. We're playing You Never Walk Alone for the Liverpool fans. Superb. I love that stuff.
Absolutely love it.
It was great. It was great for them to experience that. It didn't feel like a neutral ground, did it? Like everywhere we go in pre-season, whether we go to the United States, whether we play
LCG,
in East Asia. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter who we're playing, does it? It's Liverpool are in town. This is Liverpool's home today. We'll play You Never Walk Alone. We'll jam pack. We'll fill it to the rafters with Reds, and they'll sing their hearts out. And that's what they're going for. They're going for that experience. They're not going just to watch Liverpool's new signing. That's the bonus, and the win is another bonus on top of that. They're going to support the team that that they've grown up loving all their life, and that's where Mourinho's missed the point completely.
Tom, I was sent a beautiful screenshot from somebody pointing out about an American Manchester City fan, and I don't really want to hang up on the whole American part, but a Manchester City fan who seemed to be fairly new to football, and he said, "How do Liverpool have so many supporters in America? They haven't won anything for so long."
Well, I've been talking to my mates about this kind of stuff. Does winning trophies actually, help you out as a club right now in certain trophies anyway? So you're looking at Arsenal. What did those FA Cups do for them the last few years? Other than and United, they won what do they win? The League Cup, Europa League, fair play. That's a decent trophy, but still, what does that actually do for them as a fan base, other than be able to say to their other Liverpool supporting mates, yeah, but you haven't won anything, and we have, or win a debate on Twitter, yeah, but where's your trophy? You haven't won anything. And I get that trophies are the currency of success, but right now, who would you rather be a fan of, as objectively as you can be, Liverpool or someone like Man U? Liverpool's it's all the positive vibes are there. It's always on the up. We like our manager. He likes us. We love our players. It's all good. You're looking at United. Mourinho's fucking lost it. And I saw a tweet a minute ago saying Mourinho looks about 1 week away from writing the team for his next game with his own shit on the wall of the changing room. He looks like he's just going absolutely batshit crazy, talking about his fans and his players like that. He's going fucking nuts. And it's brilliant. So what does that, what is this? Oh, but they haven't won anything. Yeah, and like I said, I get it, right? We do need to win trophies, and I'm desperate for silverware. But it's just when people use that in an argument, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird.
We won nothing last year, Tom. We won nothing last year, but nobody can tell me that we didn't have some of the best memories we're going to have as football fans last season.
Yeah. Exactly. So what would you rather have? A team that's playing well and, they might not win a trophy, and ultimately that's the end goal, but at least we're playing good football and we like our team. We're playing really good football week in, week out. We're getting entertained. We're still getting to finals of trophies, of competitions. It's not like we haven't even got to
point, isn't it? That's the point. Being in the conversation for them, isn't it? And looking like you're going to win them. It's looking forward to your season, enjoying the ride throughout. And if you finish it trophyless, it's gutting, but you've had a full season at it. And it's not about winning that one trophy. It's about winning trophies over a sustained period of time, isn't it? Look at Leicester. Look at Leicester now. They're just an all-round team again, aren't they?
I've got a mate who supports West Ham, and he was saying to me, if Klopp doesn't win a trophy this year, then he's got to go. Just on principle, he's got to go. And it's just they just don't. People, I get where he's coming from, because the money that he spent and where we're at, we should be winning trophies, and I think none of us disagree with that. However, we're not gonna ditch this manager just like that. I don't think they get it. The reason why we're doing this well, the reason why we're in this position of getting to all these finals and having these amazing players now is because of Jurgen Klopp. So why would we just get rid of him right now when he's one of the main driving factor towards us improving and trying to be successful at least, and not dining at the top table of transfers, for example? It's just stupid. We're just not in that same mindset, I don't think, as other people might think we are.
No, I think it is. It's the whole instant need for success that people have, and it's fine. If somebody says to me, right, you can win the FA Cup next season, but the season after you're not going to win anything, I'm like, yeah, but how are we going to do in the league? How far in the Champions League are we going to go? Are we going to finish in the top 4, qualify for the Champions League the next season? You know, what about the season after that? The season after that? You know, so if we don't win anything under Klopp next season, and it's almost like, you know, the pressure to win trophies, because we've had a lack of trophies over how many years? Let's say 10 years, 12 years, right? All that isn't on Klopp. What's on Klopp is what he's done now. Now, what you're seeing, what Klopp's doing is he's building a side that's going to have sustained period of pressure over a period of time, not just 1 year, where he's signed a load of 30-year-olds who are all, or 29-year-olds are all in the prime of the career. They're going to have one amazing season, win a trophy or win the league, and then nothing again for 10 years. You know what I mean? And it's not like people say he spent a lot considering what he spent. Well, on paper, it looks like he spent a lot, doesn't it? But let's be honest, our most expensive signing is still 25 million less than Manchester United's. Our highest paid player at Manchester United, there's 4 or 5 players who've earned more. So, if we're going off money, well, Manchester United should be winning trophies. And people use this term, you should win a trophy, dead loosely, like there's loads of trophies out there. You know what I mean? Man City are going to be bang on favourites to win everything next season, without question. So it's who's going to challenge them. Well, Manchester United have got every right to. Spurs have got every right to. Arsenal to a point. Chelsea to a point. So we're one of 6 teams, of which one of them is Man City, who are just outright favourites for everything. So it's not that easy just to go out and win a trophy. But what we're looking at doing this season is closing a considerable gap on Manchester City. That much I think we are going to do. So it's about relative success, isn't it? And I think that's where sometimes we get referred to as a group of fans as being, what's the word? What do they use? We're knowledgeable fans. I think that not all of us, but I think in general, probably good 70% of the fan base realizes that it's not about winning something tomorrow. It's about winning lots over the next few years. And we're quite prepared to get on board for the ride. We've got a manager we believe in. We've got players on the field who, whether they play well or not, we know they're going to sweat blood for us. So for that, we're going to sing our hearts out. We're going to meet and greet bosses the way that we do. We're going to, and we're all on that same page. And that, I think that's why we are not going to demand that we win something next season. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to back them to the hilt and demand that we win lots over a number of seasons, which I think we will do under Klopp.
Gents, I got to push this over. I got to move on to the next subject. I could sit here listening to you guys talk about this all evening. I'm sitting here with a big smile on my face, just happy about what's coming down the line in the future. But looking at transfers, there's a couple of things that popped up from outgoings that I want to have a quick chat about. Ben Woodburn is looking like he may be going to Aston Villa on loan. I see that he's not going to be travelling over to France with the club. He's going to be staying, looks like maybe Villa there on loan. Pedro Chiravella as well looks like he's set to join Rosenborg for £3.5 million. But interestingly, the club have of course put in a buyback clause there for him. And then Watford have been linked with Divock Origi as well. And what I didn't get here is they'd be linked. They went a loan move with a view to a permanent deal, but he's only got 1 year left on his fucking contract. So that makes absolutely no sense to me. But that's a pretty quick kind of reflection of what's gone on with the outgoings. But you heard me messing with Chris earlier on talking about whether Christian Pulisic might come in or whether Fekir might come in. Klopp has pretty much ruled out a centre back, buddy. But do you think we're going to see any more incomings in the next 12 days or so?
It's a difficult one because I think if you're hearing about the Pulisic rumours and you're going off, there's been very much talk from his dad, from himself about, his dad especially was saying players don't stay at the same club forever these days. So there's going to be a move in the near future, and he's only got 2 years left on his contract. So I had this thought in my head that Pulisic Liverpool would go in for next season, next summer transfer window. Klopp was talking about him and said he's in the right place for his progression at the moment. And I felt that, one more season there and then Liverpool go after him. But if Dortmund are looking at that, they would get maximum amount of money for him. If all of a sudden they was to try and sell him this window, they would be able to sell him, in my eyes, this window. Then I have to say that Liverpool are not going to want Pulisic going anywhere else. Klopp, he's obviously a massive admirer of him. He knows what he's capable of. FSG as well. I call Pulisic FSG's poster boy. I really do think that if there is one player that, if he becomes available over the next couple of weeks, Liverpool would go all out to try and sign, I think it would be Pulisic. The Fekir deal, as much as I would still love Liverpool to sign Fekir, I feel like we're only hearing rubbish still. It's not changed. It's not changed at all. And I kind of felt like if that was going to happen, then maybe we would have heard a little bit more already by now. There's still people that are saying that, that will go down till the last day of the transfer window, but I don't believe that. I think, if there's going to be one that comes in, it would be Pulisic if he's available. But at this stage, I really don't know. Like you say, Klopp ruled out the centre-back, and I think with how Phillips has performed as well, he's looking at Gomez and his other options. I can see why he's not looking at the centre-back position. So, Klopp is very much adamant that we're good to go with what we've got next year. But the only reason I would suggest would be because Liverpool don't want to miss out on signing Pulisic. And guaranteed, there will be a lot of clubs that the alarm bells will be ringing if he is available. So, that would be the one for me, guys, if there is any others that come in.
Tom, you heard me talk about the young guys there that may be moving on and some of the figures that Liverpool are looking for them. But interestingly, we seem to be hearing a lot more about this buyback clause with players. We've seen it inserted in the deal for Jordan Ibe. We're talking about it here with Chirivella as well. I'm really impressed to see the clubs doing this, because I hate seeing clubs just store up players and just hope that they come good. We see Chelsea do it particularly. They have players farmed out all over Europe. It is only fair to these guys on occasion to let them go and build a career elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in a kind of weird backhanded compliment, it kind of shows that we still believe in them in some sort of way, and that it's kind of, it might even give them the confidence to kind of push on at this certain club, because we wouldn't put on a buyback deal or clause or whatever if we didn't think there was at least some kind of chance that they'd turn out to be really, really good players. It just wouldn't happen. So in a way, and like you said, they a lot of them do deserve a chance, because a lot of them are really, really talented players, and sadly we've got too many really, 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 really talented players in the first 11, so they're not going to play every single game, of course. So they're more than welcome to go and get a decent spot at another club. But you're right; it's a very smart piece of business, putting those clauses in. I'm just thinking, when do you think this kind of stuff started? I feel like it's been going on for a year or two now, but it hasn't been going on forever, has it? It's quite a recent thing with Klopp. I think
it's something that I ever really only heard about from clubs like Spain, for Barcelona and Real Madrid and stuff like that, when they were looking to free up money and move younger players on. I'd never really heard of English clubs doing it until fairly recently.
Yeah, me neither. But like I said, I do think it's a very clever piece of business. And fair play to Klopp and the transfer team for thinking ahead.
Before I move over to Chris for a final look at the transfers, Tom, I just want to have a quick word with you about Shea Ojo. And he's somebody who, look, the club may be saying that they don't really want to sell him, but they have put a price tag on his head of between 12 and 15 million pound. What's your thoughts on Ojo?
I don't know. I know Daz thought he had a really good game. I think he played okay against Man United, but I feel like whenever I've seen him, he hasn't fully impressed me. Like, you can see there could be a decent player in there, but his final product just seems to be lacking. I feel like Camacho's final product is way better than Ojo's, and he's a few years younger than him already. So when you're kind of comparing him to players that are a lot you know, they aren't as far down their development as what Ojo should be, then I think, yeah, maybe it could be time to move on. He took his penalty very well, to be fair, but like I said, I think his end product's quite weak. He missed quite a good chance. I think it was against, I'm not sure if it was against Dortmund or City. So I think if we can get
the one they hit the crossbar.
Did he hit the cross? Yeah, it might have done. I just remember a ball just fell
crossbar. I'm sure it was against Dortmund.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but he should have scored anyway, and I think he did okay when he was on loan last season, didn't he? Where was he at? Was he at Fulham or somewhere?
I always get confused. Who was that? Sunderland, and who was that?
I think he was at Fulham.
Ojo went to Fulham.
Yeah, but I don't think he really set the world alight there either. I'm not even sure he got into their team that much. So if we can get anywhere in the region of upwards of 10 million, then I think that'd be really, really good business.
And Chris, for you, buddy, what are you expecting the last 12 days of the transfer window? And I suppose I can almost extend this to the rest of the Premier League, because other clubs have been fairly quiet.
Well, you can see some of the other clubs doing some business, perhaps even some quite big business. United never stay quiet, do they, through a whole window? I think what I'm perhaps expecting from our perspective is that if there are developments with players like, let's say, Pulisic, or maybe something favourable happens surrounding the deal with Fekir, with Leon for Fekir, then I think maybe we will perhaps do something. But for now, I think it's about getting some players out, recouping some of the money that we've spent, albeit we don't really need to, but we don't need that many bodies in the squad, do we? Not as many as we've got. It's a very, very heavy squad. But I just think if we are going to sign anybody, it's not going to be a squad filler. It's going to be a major signing, and it would be a Fekir or a Pulisic, for example. But I certainly also think it's something that can perhaps wait until like January or even next season. When you look at the options we've got now, we're not crying out for it, are we? It's just pretty much the icing on the cake if we brought in one of them players.
Chris, so we've been a little bit naive here, though, in regards to Daniel Sturridge and the backup we have for the attacking options. And look, we've had this conversation before, we're all of the mindset that Daniel Sturridge is certainly good enough if he's fit. And thankfully, during pre-season so far, his fitness has held up. But are we being a little bit naive here?
Well, no. When all said and done, he is a top quality player. And all but for his fitness, my thoughts. The sky was the limit. If it wasn't for his fitness, you're looking at a Ballon d'Or contender. If not for his fitness, I'm not saying he's going to get back to that level of fitness. He's just not, is he? He's not. We know that for a fact. It's not going to happen. But I think, like Klopp pretty much said after the game last night, that he's not looking for 50 plus games from Sturridge. He's looking for a few very, very, very good games off him, and that's what he's going to get. I think Sturridge himself, he's saying all the right things. And by that, he's talking very differently than he has done in the past. When people have questioned him about his fitness and form and what he's expecting to do and all that, he's not being. He's come out with, I'll leave it all up to God and this, that, and the other, which is fine. That's all fine. But right now, his language has changed. He seems like he's come back in with a lot more focus. So I see no reason whatsoever why he can't come in and make an impact. And I think perhaps the way he's performing in the pre-season games, the way he is performing in training, his attitude, his fitness, how they've improved, I think that's given some food for thought to Klopp. And that's perhaps why Klopp's not going to go rushing into the market to buy another front three player, unless you're presented with an absolute gift like Pulisic on a plate, for example.
Well, here's to Pulisic on a plate then, because I'm really looking forward to having a little taste of Pulisic on whatever play he arrives on. Daz, we got to push on. Before we finish up, I just want to have a little chat about the Reds' last pre-season game away from Anfield. Obviously, they have the game against Torino coming up, but the last game they have away from home is, of course, the game in Dublin, the beautiful Aviva Stadium, my hometown. I'm very much looking forward to going and seeing it, but what type of an 11 are you expected to see? Or do you think maybe Klopp was going to start to extend people's game time from 45 to 60 minutes, or are you expecting two separate teams again?
I think he will extend the minutes of the players that he's looking at playing in the first game of the season against West Ham, to be honest. I think we'll see the closest 11 to what he'll start with. He's got to, really. Well, he hasn't got to, but that's kind of what you generally see, isn't it? I mean, he could surprise us. He could go with two teams, but it's about getting their fitness up, isn't it, in pre-season as well? And that would be the last game, and it will be the last time, really, that these players can get 60, 65 minutes into their legs and then on for the season. So I expect to see similar to what we will see in the first game. It will depend as well on who will be available. We know what we're hearing, that the players all want to, they don't want to rest and they don't want to be left out. They all want to be a part and they all want to play. But it depends on who Klopp is picking for the first game of the season as well. So it does depend on that, who he thinks. I think he said himself over the likes of Sturridge. If Sturridge was to start in the first game, he was saying that he could have played more minutes against Man United, but he said they've had a very busy pre-season and he said he didn't want to overdo it. So maybe he might have some players in mind like that he don't want to risk. Would Lallana be one of them players, or, with his injuries from last year, or will Klopp be thinking, no, he's strong enough, he's good to go for a good 60, 65 minutes? I don't know at this stage, but with Alisson, I think they was reckoning that he might start in this game. So, I think Klopp will go strong for this one and be looking to see how they all shape up for the first game, to be honest with you.
As I'm not going to lie, you've no idea how happy I am. The thoughts of Alisson's first game for Liverpool being in Dublin, mate. I am fucking over the moon with that one. I cannot wait to see that beautiful bearded bastard in goal for Liverpool.
I can imagine.
You can't.
Yeah,
Honestly, no, you can't. Whatever you imagine, triple it and then add Simon Mignolet to it.
Yeah, he's every Liverpool fan right now is absolutely ecstatic that he signed for us, and they really can't wait to see him play his first game for Liverpool. And that does seem like that'd be his first game for us. And all I ask for everyone that is a Liverpool supporter is give him time. If he makes a couple of mistakes or whatever between the sticks, just give him time. He's a top goalkeeper. He's been brought in. It's a big move. I'm not saying he will make mistakes, but yeah, I'm really excited to see what he will bring to us. I can't wait to see him myself.
Perhaps, to be fair to him, what we should do for the first 6 months of his Liverpool career is not call him Alisson, but just call him Not Mignolet. So we could just say, that was a great save there from Not Mignolet. That was brilliant distribution from Not Mignolet. And maybe that might ease him in a little bit. But look, being all serious here, Tom, Napoli, Liverpool, it's a game that rolls off the tongue for me. I know it's a pre-season friendly, but I'm expecting a very open, entertaining game from two teams that like to play football in the right way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the last game, last pre-season game, isn't it, before the season starts? So,
well, we've got Torino.
It's getting to... Oh wait, when's that? Is that at the midweek?
It's 3 or 4 days, I think, before the season starts, if memory serves correct.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. But we're getting to the business end of pre-season, if you can call it that. It'll be a week to go until the season starts. Super excited for that. The players will be buzzing as well. And yeah, I think that, they'll be treating this very, very seriously because we've got a big game against West Ham the next week. And we know how Klopp takes pre-season very seriously himself, looking at fitness and things like that. And yeah, I think Daz is right to question who exactly we're going to play because, the likes of Lallana, Sturridge, I'm not sure if Matip will be back, even Keita, he's still recovering from that weird neck injury that he got on a plane, apparently. I just think he slept weird, but whatever. So, he's got to think about, is he going to risk those players or not? Because a lot of them can be very, very injury prone. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But as you said, two really quality teams. Napoli have got some fantastic players. And yeah, I'm happy for you and the Irish fans especially, because we've got such a big following over there. And it seems like quite a nice tradition now to have like one of our final games over in Dublin. It seems really good. So
it's brilliant,
yeah,
Tom.
really
I'm looking forward to trying to get up early and meet as many people that I can, Irish people that listen to the podcast, that watch the YouTube channel. It's going to be a pleasure to get up there and meet as many of them as possible, have a chat, and it's always nice to interact with people back and forth, but nothing beats meeting people, shaking somebody's hand, and saying thank you as well for all the support.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as I said, you'll have lots of those fans there, and it gives you that opportunity to go and do that, like in your hometown, and for the Irish guys to go over there as well. So yeah, it's really good, and I'm really happy. I'm gutted I'm missing it, actually. I'm on holiday, so I won't be able to see it or even attend it. So yeah, maybe next year I'll go. Yeah,
but to be fair, you said you're on holiday, so at least you're having a good time anyway. You're not working or something like that, something miserable.
True. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's not all bad, is it?
Chris, do you know what? I think the Reds have planned this pre-season very well. We've seen some managers complaining about it, moaning about the schedules that they've had, but Liverpool have done their thing, gone to America, played a couple of friendlies in the UK before that, finish up, gone over to Ireland, but in between then they've got a nice few days in France to really fine-tune preparations, get the fitness levels right, and get ready for that West Ham game.
Yeah, what's interesting is how sprightly the players look now. You know how Klopp's worked them over pre-season. He really drills a bit to the ground, doesn't he? I mean, they've had training sessions before games. So I think those few days rest will be much needed. I am sure of that. But one thing's for certain, Klopp's going to make damn sure that their players are ready for that West Ham game. Ready to hit the ground running, and whatever it takes, whether that's a few days rest or more training. I'm certain they're going to be doing some level of training, aren't they? It's not going to be a Jolly Boys outing, is it? So, the preparation looks brilliant. It looks like it's working. And if you go off last night's performance, everything looks spot on, really, doesn't it? And I don't think I think we're going to perhaps see some quite strong lineups in the next couple of friendly games.
I'm looking forward to it, Chris. Do you know what else impressed me? When they were in the US, they were on what they were calling tour time, I think. So they didn't go fully 5 hours behind on the American time system. I think they went somewhere like 3. So it seemed like they've really been planning to minimise jet lag, get to France as well, which of course will minimise any travel coming up to the start of the season. So players really will get as good a chance as they possibly can to be in peak physical condition.
Yeah, it's a smart move. Definitely a smart move. It seems like it's the first time I've heard it, and I thought, how clever is that? But teams have been going over to play in different time zones, haven't they, for a good number of years now? So surely we've been doing that before, or other clubs have been doing that before. You'd imagine so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would think, like somebody, obviously some sports scientist or somebody worked this out and figured out the best way to get people from not suffering that jet lag and not feeling the effects of travelling around, and it does seem quite clever.
It does, again, it just amazes me that it's the first time I've heard of it. Surely we're not the first ones to have done it. It does seem clever. So what we were about? What, we're only like 2 or 3 hours out, were we, in the end?
I think we pretty much halved whatever the time difference was, give or take.
Yeah, so it'd be down to about 3 hours, wouldn't it? Yeah, it just seems so simple, doesn't it? Surely other clubs have done it, or we've done it before. Must have done.
It just seems a massive jump from even going back 7-8 years ago to the way we've seen things done. Sometimes there was managers complaining that yes, they understand there's a commercial aspect to pre-season. They understand you've got to go over there, get sponsors, sell stuff, do all that thing. But it finally feels like Klopp has got through to the team, and they found the way to get this tour done, to get the games they need, but most importantly not to affect Klopp's preparations, because that's really what this should be all about.
Well, again, just goes back to what we said at the beginning of the pod, doesn't it? Everybody's on the same page. I'm sure some of the players, they probably find the schedule a little too much for pre-season, or but they're willing to do it. They're willing to run through brick walls for him, aren't they? If it takes sleepless nights, jet lag, whatever it takes, in order to be in that team and be playing the system that they're playing and winning football matches, being successful, they're all on that same page, aren't they?
Absolutely. And gents, time have beaten us once again, so we're going to have to leave it there. But massive thank you to Tom, to Daz and to Chris for joining me on this week's show. And just before we go, I want to say we have been fortunate enough to get into a position with our friends at SOCCERLORD.se, where we're going to be giving away 5 Liverpool home shirts to listeners and followers of our account. So if you guys listen to our stuff, which you obviously do if you're hearing this, so jump onto the Anfield Agenda Twitter account, that's at Anfield Agenda. And on there you'll see a pin tweet on our account with all the information of how you can enter this competition. It's completely free to enter. It's open to anybody, no matter where you are in the world. We'll get the shirts posted out to you, everything included. It's just our way of saying thank you for all the support as well. And once again, that's thanks to our friends at SOCCERLORD.se. And just by going on there, actually, if you go on to SOCCERLORD.se and you see anything that you like, if you put in the code AAMC, so that's Alpha Alpha Mike Charlie, all uppercase, you can get a 10% discount on what's already really reasonably priced stuff. So as I said, thank you to our friends there at SOCCERLORD.se. Thanks to Chris, to Daz and to Tom for joining me on this week's show. And of course, thanks to you guys for listening. I've been your host Craig, and we'll be back next week. Take care.